Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to manually apply a time offset in Trace Compass. Here I have 3 kernel traces that were captured at the same time. If I right click on their parent folder, I can create an experiment with the 3 traces. Now if you look at the histogram of the experiment, you will see that this green trace, DjangoDB, seems to be misaligned with the other 2. If I select the time range in the histogram and look at the status bar below, I'll see that the offset is approximately 18 seconds. So if you have a calculated time offset externally, or perhaps you want to adjust for time zones, you can just select the trace and do apply time offset. And here you can enter the offset you want in seconds. So in this case, I want to subtract 18 seconds from the DjangoDB trace. When you press OK, because there are internal files in Trace Compass that depend on the timestamps of events, they need to be recalculated. So those files are deleted and the trace is closed. When you reopen the experiment, you'll see that now the traces seems to be more or less aligned. And if you click on the trace in the Explorer, you will see that the time offset is set to -18 seconds. Now this is a very coarse time offset. If you have in your traces matching events that you know were captured at the same time, you can use a different technique. So I'm going to clear this time offset. And this time I'm going to select all 3 traces and do apply time offset again and select the advanced mode. I'm going to move the dialog up here. So from this dialog, you can double click a trace and it will open the trace. So in this DjangoDB trace, which is the one I want to modify, I'm going to search for network events. So inet sock, and I'm going to press Ctrl Enter to apply this string as a filter. Here you can see all those network events, and I'm going to look for the beginning of a sequence. So an event that has the acknowledgement sequence number set to 0. And when I select that event and go into the properties, expand the content, I will copy the sequence number of that event to the clipboard with Ctrl C. Now I'm going to open the other trace and I'm just going to search for that string in the content. And you'll see that it finds an event that has this string as a sequence. The acknowledgement sequence is 0 and it's a network event. So that seems to be a matching event. Back to the dialog, I'm going to go to the first trace. And you see that when you select events in the dialog, the reference time of that trace is set to the event that you click. And also the target time is set for all traces. So in this case, I want to set the reference time of the event I want to modify by clicking on it. You'll see it here. And then I go to the other trace and I'm going to select the matching event. Now the target time has been set. So back to the DjangoDB trace, you have the target time and the reference time. And if you click on this button, the difference between those 2 times will be calculated as an offset. You see it's -17.7 seconds. So close to what we had before, but this time it's very precise. And when you press OK, the new time offset will be applied. The experiment and the DB trace that was modified are closed. And now if I reopen the experiment, you'll see again that they are aligned. And if I search again for that string in the experiment, now you'll see these 2 events, matching events with the same sequence number, and they have the same timestamp, showing that they were aligned. Now, Trace Compass has some internal algorithms in some circumstances when you have, for example, kernel traces with network events, and it can compute automatically this for you. So for that, I invite you to look at the automatic trace clock synchronization video that I'm going to put as a link in the description. So thank you and have a good day.